default is the guys over in the next valley, we don't know them. I mean, so chimps have that, right? So chimps will band together in war parties and kill other chimps who are not part of their tribe if they happen to outnumber them. And that is a behavior that clearly, tribalistic, xenophobic violence is clearly something we are good at and do reflexively in a state of nature. So yeah, that's where we start. So we overcome that by extending the circle of our morality and extending our relationships with our economic relationships, our cultural relationships, our peaceful collaboration with strangers. And that's what civilization is. Civilization is a machine to get us to peacefully collaborate with strangers. And the frontal cortex of every human brain is a machine that allows for that collaboration. And if you damage that in an individual, you get there's many different pathologies there, but one is psychopathy. I mean, if you have the right damage to your brain, you are someone who sees no basis for collaboration. You don't feel empathy for other people. You either don't care that you make them suffer, or you actually take sadistic pleasure in making them suffer. And the very basis for trust breaks down in relation to such a person. And what I would argue is that there are actually cultures that are, for all intents and purposes, psychopathic. In which you can put perfectly normal individuals, people who are neurologically intact, who don't have any of the anatomical problems of psychopaths, but put them into a system of poorly aligned incentives and bad ideas, and they essentially act like psychopaths. The guy who got on the bus and shot Malala in the head for wanting to go to school, I mean, that's essentially what happened. A Taliban gunman tried to assassinate a 15-year-old girl for the crime of wanting to get an education. Most people look at that and think, well, he must have been a psychopath, or he must have been crazy. And I think the situation we are in is far more sinister than that. He very likely was a perfectly normal person, and very likely a father, who thought he was doing a good thing, and in every other moment in his life, it was probably a nice guy, probably a compassionate guy, probably a guy who's capable of empathy.
That's a weird jump. Why would you think that?
Well, because you just have to look at the kinds of atrocities that normal people perpetrate in mass movements that are, for want of a better word, evil. So you look at Nazi Germany. How did the Holocaust occur? It was not that there were hundreds of thousands of psychopaths eager to collaborate in the destruction of a people. There were a lot of normal people who, given the requisite ideas and the requisite incentives, and the ability, as you described, to dehumanize the other, just saw no problem. They could burn people in gas chambers by day and go home and shed a tear over Wagner at night and play with their own kids. And that disjunction, morally, never had to be inspected. Now, obviously, there's some people who were racked by guilt and some people who refused to collaborate, but this is one of the scary features of the human mind. It's possible to be an otherwise good person and do horrible things in the right situation. That's not to say